Live from 2 News. This is Talkin Real, powered by Strong Auto Group.
Just got to be careful not to go missing. So yeah, not necessarily more defensive, like further back in the field. Just don't go chasing waterfalls.
Oh, wow. You had to.
Yeah, right?
That's well.
Right?
Luke Mulholland was 7 when TLC's Waterfalls hit #1 in 1995. But hey, everything's funny when you win. Welcome to a Talkin Real version of Talkin Sports. I'm David James. Along with Brian Dunseth, we're here every Thursday night. And Dunny, tonight we talk about the rivers and the lakes that RSL fans are used to.
What's wrong with him?
A Sabo goal.
I love Luke Mulholland, but what is wrong with you, man?
That was funny.
That's a glorious beard, by the way, as well. Yeah, listen,
right.
We talked about it. We needed goals, we needed points, and this is exactly what we saw from a Real Salt Lake team that went on the road in Chicago and walked away with a fantastic result. We saw opportunities created. We saw great defensive shape. Yes, there was a mistake from Elias Vasquez, but ultimately, at the end of the day, Real Salt Lake puts in another solid shift, another great performance, and something to build on heading into this weekend in Montreal.
All right, let's take a look at the highlights. And there's goals. We start at the 13th minute. Jordan Allen down the wing. Tons of time, lots of space. Great dummy run by Luis Gil. And Sabo buries it.
We just got done talking in the broadcast about that space in behind Harry's ship, and that's where Jordan Allen gets in behind. But the dummy sold by Luis Gil is the game changer on this. Watch the way he pulls 3 players in. That opens up the space for Sabo, and what a fantastic finish from Alvaro Saborio. Just outside the 18-yard box, quick turn, quick release. Nothing the goalkeeper can do about it, and that gives RSL the 1-0 lead.
Second half, RSL putting passes together, and then Jordan Allen to Devin Sandoval. Luke Mulholland, the finish, 2-0.
We're going to break this goal down in depth, but playing, movement, triangle passing, this goal really had everything that you want to see, and it's such a clean build-up, especially on the road in a tough environment.
So take a look at the Western Conference standings. 3 points. That'll pick up some ground real quick. Vancouver and Dallas still tied atop the Western Conference standings. Dallas has a game in hand. Big game in the West. 3rd place Seattle at Vancouver Saturday. And then look at the traffic jam. 7 teams separated by just 3 points. San Jose, Sporting KC, LA, and RSL all on 14. Portland and Houston, 13 points. Colorado bringing up the rear at 10, although the Rapids would be 5th in the Eastern Conference. Clearly, 3 important points for RSL. What do they need to do, Dunny, to keep scoring goals? Take us to the telestrator.
Well, they need to replicate that goal that Luke Mulholland scored. And when you take a look at the breakdown on the buildup of this play, it's really a lot of interchanging movement. But I want you to watch, in particular, the defending shape. You've got 2 center backs tucked inside, stepping up, both outside backs. But watch the way the ball is cut through from Jordan Allen, and then watch this run from Luke Mulholland as he gets to the back post. And as Luke Mulholland is the beneficiary of a great heads-up play from Devin Sandoval, his work's not done. Jovan Jones comes in defending, and watch the way Jones, the outside left back, slides, gets on the deck, and Luke Mulholland pops that ball up and over, finds far post side net. What a fantastic goal for Real Salt Lake and Luke Mulholland and Devin Sandoval. Now let's talk about defensively what Montreal does not do well, and that's staying with their runs in the box. This past weekend, watch Diego Valeri, and it's really, really easy to watch Valeri as he plays and as he moves. But keep an eye on the defensive shape. Watch the back 4 of the Montreal Impact, and watch the way Donadel, and in particular Andres Romero, they just stop. And Valeri looks to expose as that ball from Rodney Wallace comes to him perfectly, and what a well-timed, well-taken, and perfectly placed goal from the Argentine, who gets his first start coming back from a torn ACL. But for the Portland Timbers, it was a fantastic result on the road, but for that man, Diego Valeri, really just cutting apart Montreal's back line and showing exactly how you can break them down.
All right, Dunny. Thank you very much. We're going to take a look at the Eastern Conference standings. DC United leads New England by 3 points. The Red Bulls and Columbus are 3rd and 4th, but they both have a game in hand on the top 2 clubs. The rest of the East is well off the pace. Montreal is 10th. 3 losses, 2 draws in 5 MLS matches. They've been outscored 8-3 in those 5 matches. Dunny, they are also, the stat you love, 0-2 against the more powerful Western Conference. A 3-0 beating in Houston in April and a 2-1 loss to Portland at home last week. While Montreal has played just 5 MLS matches, they have played 13 across all competitions, 6 in Champions League, where they lost in the final, and 2 more in the Canadian Open Championship, where they just eliminated Toronto Wednesday. The Impact will be playing their 3rd match in 8 days, and RSL coach Jeff Cassar says, well, you have to look beyond their record when assessing their play.
You get to a point where you got to put all your eggs in one basket, and when you're in the finals of the Champions League and semis, that's where all your eggs are going, and that's where all your focus and all your scouting is going to be successful in that tournament. And Montreal did a great job of that. Now that that's over, they have to now get back to the MLS and trying to find results, and it's not always easy.
That a tough thing to get over, losing such a massive game like that and trying to get back into this groove of things.
Yeah, I think so, especially because you just put almost the entirety of your focus on winning that tournament, and that's far and out the priority. And it was tough immediately to kind of get over that grieving period very quickly and move on. I remember we went to Portland right away and lost, and but there's nothing else to do but move on. So obviously they're a good side. They got to the Champions League final for a reason. So I'm sure they'll get back to winning ways soon.
Dunny, there's a theory the Impact are built for international competitions, for the Champions League, and not for Major League Soccer. So 2-part question. Are you buying that theory? Do you agree? And number 2, why does that theory have legs?
Well, I would say yes, I do agree with it, but I think because of age, the experience of the players brought in, Laurent Simon, you've got Bakary Samari, you've got Donadel, you've got guys that have brought in for that experience to manage games, not necessarily to deal with the week in, week out type of play that Major League Soccer has to adhere to, especially when you think about this is a group, because of their age, because of the travel difficulties coming in and out of Montreal, this is a team that I think throughout the course of the season is going to get some great results, but it's going to have tough stretches, and right now is a very, very difficult stretch, especially considering they're trying to balance coming off CONCACAF Champions League back into Major League Soccer and then dealing with the Canadian Championship with a home and away leg against Toronto FC. This is a team that wants to absorb but wants to hit out on the counter. Guys like Jack McInerney, guys like Dominic Oduro, Dilly Duca over on the left-hand side. The question is, can they put together consistent performances, whether at home or at the road? That is a question I'm not sure they've figured out yet, DJ.
All right, Real Salt Lake. They used to play the diamond. They went to the 4-3-3 to open the season, but a pair of injured forwards sent them back to using 4 midfielders. However, Coach Jeff Cassar says it's not a diamond. Luke Mulholland explains how the wide midfielders are playing a little differently, and Tony Beltran explains what that means for the defenders behind them.
Kyle's back to his disciplined self, defending, and we look for him every time we win the ball back to, he transfers it to the other side, get us out of trouble and give us some opportunities on the other side of the field. And I guess with how it's just different to a diamond is the outside mids. We want to press the outside backs as quickly as we can, as opposed to allowing them to come down the sides and then trap them with the more advanced outside midfielders. So that's how I would say it's different. And then also with the personnel right now interchanging with myself, Luis and Jordan, we all know that we don't just have to stay in our positions, we can fill in for one another whenever we get caught out of position, or if just to keep the other team guessing.
Tony Beltran had Jovan Jones running at him and Sean Maloney challenging him throughout the game. And Dunny, full credit to Tony here. He had a good game in Chicago.
Yeah, he was very, very solid. But as you can see right there, you've got Tony Beltran at right back stepping up front pressing. You've got the back pressing of Luke Mulholland. And then you have Kyle Beckerman tucking in underneath. It's all about finding the right balance. And as Kyle kind of protects that back four, it's because of the team speed that Real Salt Lake has now as opposed to last season, where this formation differentiates. Yeah, we're used to seeing 4 in the midfield. We're used to seeing that diamond. And it does look similar at times, but the shape and the identity is different based on the athleticism and the team speed that Jeff Cassar now has at his disposal.
So the starting 11 for Real Salt Lake, surprising but not surprising at the same time.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see any changes from head coach Jeff Cassar. And the big news is that Jordan Allen is going to stay with RSL instead of joining up with the U.S. Under-20. So he'll get that start over on that left-hand side. Mulholland over on that right. Javier Morales is not going to travel because of those concussion-like issues. So Luis Gil will hold his place. Keep an eye on DeMar Phillips getting forward on the left-hand side. Tony Beltran over on the right-hand side. And you'll still have the big pairing up top of Alvaro Sabrillo, Devin Sandoval, and having those two big bodies are going to cause a lot of problems for the Montreal Impact. Speaking of the Montreal Impact, when you take a look at their starting 11, I don't think they're going to change too much from a week ago against the Portland Timbers. The big question mark, Laurent Simon, who was a part of the Belgian World Cup team in 2014. What does his partnership look like with Bakary Samari? Those two players got cut apart in the second leg against Club America. Nigel Reo-Coker, the former England man, will slide over to right back with the injury to Cabrera. Andres Romero will sit in front of him. Marco Donadel will sit alongside Callum Malice, one of the bright young stars of Major League Soccer coming forward. Duca will get up high on that left-hand side. Romero will get high on the right. Jack McInerney will bring the speed to flare out to either side. But the player you want to keep an eye on if you're an RSL fan is Ignacio Piatti, the Argentine coming from San Lorenzo in Argentina. Won the Copa Libertadores, did not go to the FIFA Club World Cup, but they waited and they paid a lot of money to get his services. He's got size, he's got strength, he's got technical ability. He's kind of like Javier Morales, but a little bit more like Diego Valeri. But you will be excited if you're a neutral when the ball is on the foot of the number 10 for the Montreal Impact, because he's a game changer. Absolutely a game changer.
All right, we come to the best part of the show now. This is it. With Montreal playing for the third time in 8 days, for the fourth time in 11, what are your keys to victory?
Well, I think you got to pick up exactly where you left off. And what I mean by that is for Real Salt Lake to match the same type of intensity, same type of tone that they had in that 2-1 win on the road in Chicago. What does the movement in the final third look like? I think Laurent Simon and Bakary Samari are going to have a lot of trouble physically dealing with Sabo and Devin Sandoval. But where do those secondary runs come out of the midfield? And most importantly, I just got done talking about him, the number 10, Ignacio Piatti. Can you limit his touches? Can you limit his impact on the game? And when he does find that cultured left foot on the ball, can you get tight enough to make it difficult to where he's either playing backwards or he's losing possession through the run of play?
All right, join us Saturday, 1:30 Mountain Time, for our coverage of the Impact and Real Salt Lake right here on KMYU. Saturday night at 7 p.m., the Real Monarchs host Portland 2, and former RSL star Will Johnson, who's coming back after the compound fracture of his leg. So you can go to Sandy and see that game, or you can watch it right here on KMYU, 7 o'clock Saturday night. And the news breaking today, the Riot will host the Olympic qualifying semifinals and final and third place game, October 10th and 13th. Top two teams go to the Olympics. The third team plays Colombia in Rio for the last Olympic berth. Dave Fox with the NBA playoffs coming up next.